I'm Melissa Chartrand. I'm here with Chris Galazzi. Should I say that right?
You did,
I
yes,
got it.
thank you.
Nailed it. We are at the Cape Cod Maritime Museum here in Hyannis. So it's so nice to be here.
Thank you very much for coming. Yeah,
No,
it's a pleasure.
We're glad to be here, and we have a lot to talk about. We're going to first start, your favorite subject,
Yeah,
about you.
me. Yeah,
About
let's,
you.
let's talk about
We
the
only
museum
have 10
later.
minutes. We
Right,
only have
right,
10
right.
minutes, Chris. But you are new to the museum, so I want
am.
to talk to you about your role, your background,
Sure,
and,
sure.
and
yeah,
your vision.
Absolutely. Well, again, thank you for coming, and,
Sure.
and we're excited. The museum is a big family, and we welcome you and everyone in the community to come down and take a look. There are a lot of exciting things happening here. I didn't know about the museum.
No?
I am new to the museum, but I'm not new to Cape Cod.
Okay.
My family runs Brewster Day Camp and the family school up in Brewster. I went to Nauset Middle School and high school, and so when then
So you're a Cape
struggled.
Codder.
I'm a
We'll
Cape
give you
Codder,
that.
kind of. My friends who were born here will argue with that.
Right, close enough.
Yeah. And went off and got involved in technology and business development in Hollywood and New York City and Silicon Valley, and then fell in love and got married and had a kid and came back to the Cape to raise one and now 3 daughters here in Cape Cod.
Outstanding. And
Yeah.
what you couldn't pick a better place to raise your daughters.
Oh, absolutely, no. And we looked around. We looked around the States and have come back home.
Good.
Just a fantastic place to be.
Good. And then, as you say, with the Maritime Museum, you didn't know about it, so how you found about it, and you know a little bit about sailing.
Right. So I grew up on the Cape sailing, clamming, fishing, being part of the whole maritime experience as a preteen and a young teenager. Often did way back in the 70s.
Okay.
And my father started a boat building school called Experience in the early 70s. And Pete Culler, a noted designer and boat builder, was on the board of that wooden boat school. So I grew up around men and women who were working together, building boats and going to sea in them. And it's an exciting way to now be back involved with that
Sure.
maritime tradition. And some of the boats, we actually have 2 Pete Culler wherries here on display at the museum. So it's nice to bring that back full circle.
Absolutely. And let's talk about now what's in the museum, because you have, first of all, you can learn to build a boat here.
Yeah, absolutely. So what we're trying to do is bring the community into the museum and talk to them a little bit about the artifacts. And you'll look around here in the museum, you'll see our Rum Runner exhibit, and we have artifacts that come out of homes from Cape Codders and their stories that they've told through the generations. But we also teach the skills of how to build a boat. And so we're really trying to marry both the preservation of Cape Cod maritime artifacts to a education of maritime traditions and boat building.
And I think that hands-on connection makes it all the more rich experience for them.
We have retired adults who come in. We have younger children, elementary school, coming in to learn about ecology and the maritime environment. They're building small boats with us, small models. The older kids, the intermediate school kids and the high school kids are coming, and I hope you'll have a minute to walk through the museum with me, and I can show you a skiff that the children have actually built here and will be floating in another week with a coat of paint. She'll be out on the water.
That's great. And I love that involving the kids and the hands-on, they get so many skills. Not only do they learn about their heritage, but they get those math skills.
That's right.
And other skills that are lifelong.
Yes, absolutely. There's a rich tradition. Actually, if you go back 100 years, 200 years, we had very strong schools even then, and now our strong schools is from Sturgis to DY to Nauset, and all of the schools in between. No, I haven't forgotten Harwich and Chatham and everybody else up and down the Cape. But these strong schools that we enjoy today are part of a history of a tradition of very strong education, because we needed to educate our children back in the 1700s, 1800s to be able to go out and do the math that was required to keep a ship safe and going from point A to point B in the fastest, most safe way possible. And so that's where a lot of these education traditions that we expect here on the Cape harken back to. It's really
Absolutely.
kind of fun.
It's very
Yeah.
critical to keep that boat afloat.
Right?
For
Yes.
sure.
Yeah.
So we are standing in a room that has a current exhibit that's going to run through
Definitely
the
through
fall?
December.
Through December,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah, and we're receiving artifacts from families who are hearing about it. They're coming into the museum. They're learning about what we've done here, and then they're going home and bringing in their artifacts. There's actually a bottle over here on this part of the exhibit where a diver had brought it in and had found it in the 70s when he was diving off of Chatham in a cache of bottles that were amongst debris that was dumped when a rum runner was trying to escape the Coast Guard patrols that were famously running there off that coast.
That's right, because again, this is a Rum Runners exhibit, and give us the little
Yeah.
Reader's
So
Digest version
so
of
here's
what this is.
here's the spiel. We have artifacts here from different Cape Cod families and individuals, from outfits that were worn on the Coast Guard cutters to a pistol that was allegedly, possibly used. Folks get funny when they start talking about their family history. You'll hear one story around their kitchen table and another story here when it gets out in public. And then different businesses that have been involved in the business around rum and wine. And Truro Vineyards has donated some items to the exhibit here. And so there's a real community involvement in this exhibit. And I can't briefly tell you about everything that's
Okay,
happening,
they have
so
to come and
I'll
see it.
ask them to
All
come
right.
on down. Yeah.
Right, and again, there's plenty to see here. There's classes to take, and we also have the Sarah.
That's right. So Sarah was built actually in this room a number of years ago from raw wood. And we had steam boxes. The knees and planks were bent and steamed and put into place. And now she sits about 75 yards away out here on the Inner Harbor, and she's available for charter if
Right.
you'd like to go out on her.
And I think that's something, Chris, that I want to point out to our viewers, because I don't know that they realize that you can do that there's great excursions out on the Sarah. And you and I even joked that we will have to come back, and I'll have to do a whole video segment.
I know
I
it's
think of
going to
us
be
out on the
onerous.
water.
It will be onerous and a
Like,
real
really
tough
tough.
task for you. But I hope you'll put on your Sperry topsiders and come out on the boat with us. Yeah, she was built right here. She's a traditional wooden boat, and folks can go out and experience a gaff-rigged catboat, classically built Crosby replica, and feel what it was like to be out on this
Yeah.
Inner Harbor fishing, which is really the catboat was designed as a working boat. We won't put you to work,
Okay.
but you can experience what it was like.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
Now, before we go, tell us where you see the future of the museum. What do we have in store coming up?
Sure.
In the new
Well,
year?
the Board of Trustees is working to look at the vision of this location and how we reach out to a community. This 10 years ago was a community center, and did noble work drawing the community in. I believe that really to exercise the mission of this museum, we want to be able to have a foot in the past and preserving the artifacts and the history, but also a vision to the future of how we bring the community here to enjoy this beautiful location on the Inner Harbor, but also share the traditions and the experience of Maritime in all its facets, from artifacts to building boats, and we welcome everyone of all ages to come in and experience it with us.
Outstanding, Chris. Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much. We really look forward to new and exciting things taking place right here at Cape Cod
Thank you.
Maritime
Thanks for
Museum.
coming. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. So for Chris Galazzi at the Cape Cod Maritime Museum, I'm Melissa Chartrand, wishing you an artful day.